Good Saturday evening. What is okay? Here we go. Good Saturday evening, and welcome to another edition of Love Talk and Wrestling. It's me, big guy KG with the Don, the People's Choice, Don Rodriguez, and WCW versus NWO World Tour in the background. About wrestling, let's talk about a little love. We can talk,
about love. That was last week.
huh?
That was last week. You're a week late.
Oh,
Weren't you on that show?
yeah. I love you, Naya. Okay, let's talk about wrestling.
See, that's what happens when people take creative days off and spend most of their time stalking Jordan Grace.
Here we go. I don't have to stop.
That's right, because you got the address.
Oh Lord.
Got it. You are the man for that. But yes, once again, we are back in YouTube land, cool throwback background land, representing arguably one of the best wrestling experiences on the Nintendo 64. Great chain wrestling, many belts won and lost throughout the course of that with AKI Man. But, I don't know if you're ready for all that stuff. I know you can't handle that WCW versus NWO World Tour.
Was never a fan of it. I'll say that.
That's a shame. It's the same daggone engine.
Well, I get. I was a SmackDown fan. SmackDown, Warzone. Uh, what was that? Attitude. WWF Attitude. That's what got me started. Outside of
tragedy,
WrestleMania and all that, but I mean, WWF Attitude. Oh man,
tragedy.
Yes,
tragedy.
That's why I fell in love with Triple H. I hated Triple H, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use Triple H, and I'm gonna make him get beat. And then all of a sudden, I ran through and started winning titles with Triple H.
And the rest is history.
Yes, that's it. Then I got my runs with The Rock on SmackDown, Chris Jericho. Later years, I had Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero. I had my runs. Put my little
teams together. Did you create your own superstar?
I did that on WWF Attitude.
Okay.
What was his name?
What was his name?
King.
Okay. What was his finisher?
It was actually a hanging brain buster. I called it the Crown and Scepter.
Careful. That may get stolen by King Corbin. Better watch that.
It possibly could.
I don't know if you've kind of been peeping this, but kind of didn't have a King of the Ring this year.
Yeah, so I know.
He's kind of the longest reigning King of the Ring ever, to the best of my knowledge. Because he's going on 2 years worth of being King Corbin, the King of the Ring. It's like, so did the WWE just gingerly shelf that pay-per-view? Again. Or what?
That's something that I don't like, because that was crazy. Because King of the Ring was the ultimate singles tournament.
That's when you have a bunch of tournaments. Like everybody doing tournaments now. It's like, what are we gonna do for ratings? You want to have a tournament? All right, then. That's just like every time you turn around, there's a tournament for something.
The six-pack challenge for
this. Go ahead and have a tournament. Let's not just go to the Intercontinental Champion and say, you are number one contender, and then you wrestle the champion. Nah. When have they ever done that? That doesn't even sound right. Nope, we're going to have a tournament and don't have the Intercontinental Champion in it, and then just have that happen. But yet the Intercontinental Champion or the United States Champion, they just in some flagrant storyline that's just pointless. So, yeah.
Those belts mean nothing anymore.
Well, hardly anything. I agree. I thoroughly agree. We need to bring back we talked about it many times, bring back the prestige of the title. That's the one thing I will give The Miz full credit for when he had his blow up on Talking Smack, and then subsequently after. It was all about holding the weight of that belt and making it an actual championship, because we all remember your boy, was champion Brock Lesnar, and yeah, he wasn't there that much. So what other title was there on Raw? The Intercontinental Championship at that point.
Right.
or even when they flipped it and it was, the United States Championship. Outside of what's happening with Bobby Lashley and things that's going on now, but where's the relevance? No disrespect to Big E, but really, we need something real happening with those belts. Like that should be WrestleMania main event. Should be the obviously the two championship heavyweight champions, and then your co-main event should be Intercontinental and U.S. And then you got your tag belts. Every belt's being defended, not just the United Champions, but
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. But
But
who are
see,
we to talk about such things? It's not like we've had many shows on it.
but
It's not
see,
like that's sarcasm, as we can clearly see on your shirt.
it's one of my many talents.
Ah, okay. Stalking is also one of your many talents, but we're not.
But when we talk about belts like that, we talked about it at length. Just how being an intercontinental champion, being in the realm of intercontinental champions, even if you're not the champion at the time, but you're competing for that championship, it was seeing who was the next to step up.
Mm-hmm.
When Shawn Michaels was champion, Bret Hart was champion. You
Right.
had Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H. You had all those guys competing for the Intercontinental Championship, and it was a war.
Bret
And
Hart. You got to throw Bret in there as well.
Bret Hart. But
You
then
know,
when they went
heavy
to the
hitter.
next level, they could carry the company. Each one of them could carry the company. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, okay, can you main event? Are you over enough to main event? And the
Mm-hmm.
U.S. Championship should be the same way.
I agree.
And
Or
if
don't use it.
a lower tier belt to just kind of say, okay, we got a belt, that's where your television title comes in at.
I agree. And AEW has a TV title. They just don't have a mid. So they're kind of in reverse. So
Mm-hmm.
they're having their TV be a heavy hitter more often than not being defended versus the heavyweight, but they just don't have that mid card title. So they're interesting. I guess you could say they're polar little opposites of what's happening right now. WWE has multiple and not using the rest of their full advantage. AEW needs to get multiple, and they're still, like Flintstones kids, 10 million strong and growing. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But speaking of championships, I guess that would kind of be a good segue into the reason for the season, the purpose for the deal tonight, which is first and foremost, we are not going to make anybody wait until the end of the show. We're going to jump right into the first picks of 2021. And what better pay per view than the EC, aka the Elimination Chamber? So, as you can tell, the Nubian Sumo is absent. He is out there Nubianing or sumoing or whatever the heck he does when he's not on a podcast. So we will give him a shout out and gingerly tell the story about that time that he and I were in the Elimination Chamber in the sports arena of the ESPN zone. And then, he was coming forward and I just picked him up, slammed him into the pod, beat the crap out of him, and then just left him a bloody pulp and then just left because I didn't even care about winning the championship at that point. I really just wanted to beat the hell out of James. So since he's not here, I figured I'd just go ahead and put that story out there because, it happened.
I can imagine what he's going to say when he hear that.
He probably like, dang, I remember that time too, until my head
Nah,
bust up against the wall and then I forgot everything that happened the rest of that day. He gets
nah,
amnesia sometimes.
he got a 4-letter word waiting for you.
I don't know. He's not on the show, so obviously we'll be waiting for him. We may have to do the 2 minute show when he comes back on trying to say something. As soon as he get ready to, form his lips, show's over. We got to get it. But in all seriousness, we really do have the Elimination Chamber happening tomorrow. We really are going to do our picks. So we're going to take it, I guess this will be a throwback pick show to where it's just me and you one on one for your Nintendo, like, was it Jordan versus Bird and everything else going back in the day. So,
Ooh, boy, Jordan versus Bird. The wars that I had on that game.
great commercials back in the day too for those. That's when everything mattered. But we're not gonna get into a tangent on commercials because I'm still mad that all these cereal commercials happen and these kids get the end of the story before summer break. Like, remember, you had to wait until the end of the summer to find out who took the tricks or who got the Lucky Charms. Every week you keep watching the commercials, watching the cartoons on Saturday to see if there's another chapter. You're like, dang it, that's the same damn commercial. And then as soon as you get to August, right before school go in, boom, there's the end of the daggone thing. It's like Silly Rabbit, tricks are for kids. Like, I knew it every time. But you just had to get there. It was a journey, and it made you want to eat the cereal. Or not really, you just really wanted to find out the rest of what happened in between, watching Goof Troop and all that other stuff. But, y'all whippersnappers don't know about that. You know about that Goof Troop.
Report to the Troop.
And Tailspin and all them good shows back in the day, Darkwing Duck. I could go on, but that's just one station. One station.
Wow. Number one, you showed your age. Number two, you read my mind.
I remember, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. We was reminiscing on the 18 cartoon and Mr. T and Hammerman. I don't remember that. that was the extra throwback right there.
Kid and Play, man. Kid and Play.
Yeah. Baby's Kids.
Yeah.
All that good stuff, man. There was some good shows back there. Ace Ventura. That's what Sunday mornings is like. Video games, man. Let me go and watch these cartoons real quick up until noon.
Pretty much. See, I had a little different though, because it was only cartoons from maybe about 7 to 9. Then I had to watch TNBC, man. Once I was in middle school, it was TNBC on Saturday mornings. I had to watch my hang time, especially hang time. Hang time was my thing.
Well, but But Saved by the Bell, I was watching that on other stations, so that's why I didn't jump too deep into that. But shout out the family of Screech, man. Dustin Diamond, rest in peace. Since that's kind of recent and one of the early tragedies of 2021. Everybody remembers Screech. He was the nerd that never got any props. That once in a while got the girl. Once in a while. Never had a Stefan moment, unfortunately. So he couldn't morph to really get the girl, but he was the mold that a lot of these other shows stole that type of character from and built their other teen shows on Nickelodeon and Disney. Nick Cannon. You know how it is. But getting back to the pause for the cause, it gave you enough time to get your mind right, so that way you can relax. Because I want you to have your poker face, as Lady Gaga would say, so you can get these picks wrong.
No, not Lady Gaga. No.
Yeah.
Kanye West, Common. I make
because you won this. Now I won.
Oh God! Or maybe Kenny Rogers. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to front. Got to count your blessings. When sit down at the table. You don't know about that. That's before your time right there.
Man, I learned a lot from Kenny Rogers about that.
What you know about the game? You know about that boy. That's before your time right there. That's before your time. That's when you used to sit down in front of the TV and watch Hee Haw. Watching it now, you didn't realize, like, God dang, they were some Southern people. You didn't realize that. It was just funny.
You going deep tonight, man. We got a sing along going on.
Shoot, we could do I don't really have any. Oh, there we go. We could do a reenactment of 11:59. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? TV's off.
Most people don't remember TV used to go off.
That's way back. Shoot, like, somebody shot JR. No! When we gonna find out what happened? In about 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
It was a dream sequence. How the hell that happened? Oops, spoiler alert. My bad.
Before we go on to the Elimination Chamber, I'm gonna tell you a story, really fast. My mother tells this story every birthday. Every time my birthday comes around, she say, "You was born. I got to the hospital at 10:20. You was born at 10:27. I was trying to see who shot JR, but you had to show up, huh?"
You ruined everything, man. That was crucial. Like the whole world stopped back then. You just don't know.
I said, "Ma, I didn't have a choice. I mean, it was my time."
That episode that was on the news. That's how serious that was. When that episode ended, like 11 o'clock news, people were like, "They shot Jr. No, who did it?"
You know they reenacted when they brought Dallas back, right? They did it again.
Yeah, I can't. Larry Hagman wasn't in the new Dallas. Well, they did bring it back, but then they did it again, right?
Yeah, he was in it.
Was he? I thought he
Mhm.
passed away.
He passed away during filming. I
Oh,
think that
okay.
was the last season that he passed away.
Oh man, rest in peace, Larry Hagman, man. Don't know about that, man. Shoot. Let me go ahead and jump out there and get my talking car. Like, Michael, what's going on? Like, you see a red light and it wasn't the police and that red light going back and forth. You knew you had your things. Shoot, Night Rider all day long.
Mr. Feeney, man, that's who that was. That was Mr. Feeney.
Mr. Feeney. As soon as the Boy Meets World came on, I was like, kid. Then eventually he became Mr. Feeney, but for the first 2 seasons, it was Boy Meets Kid. That's all it was to me. Like, let there be a kid named Michael in that class. I would have lost my mind. But they were smart. They didn't do that. But if he would have said, "What's the answer, Michael?" Like, no. That'd have made my day, man. Shout out to what was that, Ben Savage? Yeah, yeah. Just for clarification, KG, I know we've gone off on a tangent again, but this is a wrestling show. As made prevalent by the background with Hollywood Hulk Hogan and the Giant looking extremely pissed off, like he's constipated, trying to drop one behind me. So I think we should actually, for the sake of the people that were not born in the dark ages, when TV went off and all these great cartoons that they'll never understand were on. But you could probably get it on Netflix. And if you go to Netflix, just make sure you slide me a stock option since I just put you down with some greatness. But tomorrow night, Elimination Chamber, 7 p.m. on the WWE Network start time until it becomes 7 p.m. on the Peacock Network, showing the WWE Network. I don't know how this whole thing is going to work. $10. I guess I got to get a Peacock T-shirt in the midst of my Bada Boom, realest guy in the room, Enzo Amore and Big Cass T-shirt. We're gonna start the picks off with your girl, allegedly, and the women's tag team championship. So Shayna and Nia going one-on-one with my girl Bianca Belair and the boss Sasha Banks. Since it's 2021, we're turning over a new leaf, and I want to give you the opportunity to be the first loser. I'm going to let you pick first because I'm a nice guy. You're welcome.
I had a post about Nia earlier this week, and I said, she's not like most girls, but I'm going to go Nia and Shayna.
To retain?
Because they got something bigger lined up for Bianca Belair. And it ain't the tag team scene.
Why are you seeing my notes, man?
I don't have to see it. We've been doing this for 3 years. Almost. Come August 25th, it'll be 3 years. You think a little bit of you ain't rubbed off on me? That I'm not looking ahead and seeing the bigger picture? I'm not just looking like this. I see it all. 2020 vision, funny money vision, baby.
I'm with you. But what if they do put the belts on them, and that is what starts the feud between the two? That could happen. I doubt it, though, because I do agree. I think Bianca and Sasha are going to have some issues, especially coming off of SmackDown. I think Carmella's going to come into play to start this rift with between the two, Bianca and Sasha, through the catalyst of Reginald the Sommelier. which they better be careful with because I don't know if that's an inside joke on Jussie Smollett to just use it that way. Like,
You see Smollett.
yeah. Yeah. All right, Dave Chappelle. Every time I watch Unforgiven, he starts going through that. I'm like, oh man. That first time, I was like, who? Oh snap! He going there. Like
Juicy.
Dave.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. I thought you was really talking about some French dude. You went all in over my head. Stop that, Dave. You stop that. So all right, so that's your first and only dual pick where you pick the same person as I did. You're not allowed to do that no more.
I hear you.
Next pick. United States Championship match. It's a triple threat. Bobby Lashley versus Matt Riddle versus Keith Lee, the newly engaged. Congratulations, Keith Lee. So, congrats on getting her to say yes, because I'm quite sure you said if you don't take this ring and say yes, woman, you don't get that pounds. So, just because he's white hot. I know we were talking about the championship, but Bobby Lashley and what he's doing as a heel holding the United States Championship, man. He just captures my attention. And then I know it sounds crazy, but his Hurt Business theme music when he comes down to that, man, that's just some hype music, man. It's like almost Untouchables level of music. From when you watch Untouchables and you hear that soundtrack, you know it's going down. Them boys about to put in that work, and that's how I feel about the Hurt Business, especially when Bobby is concerned. So I'm gonna actually keep the belt on Bobby Lashley. Matt Riddle is just that person in there, just to add a little flavor to the storyline. But and no disrespect to Keith Lee, but U.S. is too small for him. I think he needs to be in that heavyweight championship run by WrestleMania. But that's just me. So your turn, sir.
I agree with you, but I also disagree. Yes, the United States Championship is too small for one Keith Lee, but he has to start somewhere. He hasn't had a championship since he left. He ain't had a championship since he left NXT. So give me Keith Lee in this one. Put the United States Championship on him, but that's only a stepping stone. Because I think, in my heart of hearts, he's going to be a dual champion once again.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to be United States and Intercontinental Champion.
No, I was thinking both world championships.
I can see that too.
And, that could be he becomes Money in the Bank winner, wins the championship as while he's still Money in the Bank winner, and then cashes the Money in the Bank in to take the other one.
Yeah, but how many? Let me
just because he can. And then after that, be like, I just wanted to show y'all that I could just take whatever I want, and then just drop the belt.
Well,
whatever
let me
doesn't want. Say it again.
How many wrestlers have held 2 championships every level that they went? He's held the North American and the NXT championship. Mm-hmm. If he holds the US and the Continental, and if he holds both heavyweight championship belts, that'll be a first, won't it?
I think so, because there's been a lot of people that have held 2, but not at the same level at the same time that I can recall. We'll have to dig through. This was in the majors, I guess, in WWE and stuff like that. I guess you can kind of throw a little bit of dual ECW stuff in there. We know Chris Jericho did it with the 2 championships, but on the heavyweight side. But he would potentially be the first person that we would fact check to see if that was something mid-card and then lower level.
Kurt Angle was the only one I know mid-card, but he didn't hold both championships as a major.
Yeah.
He was your Euro Intercontinental Champion.
So he could be in rarefied air, so to speak, if he can make that happen. So we're wishing him or trying to will that into submission so that way they can take that concept and run with it and see what happens. Speaking of running, yeah, exactly. Speaking of paying it forward, running it back, this one is going to be kind of an up in the air. So we're not going to pick on it, but I just want to speak on it because I know you may have some thoughts. The Raw Women's Championship was billed as Asuka versus Lacey Evans. But now we discovered that Lacey Evans has got a little bit of that woo Ric Flair drip for the storyline. But truthfully, she has got that. Her husband had that Corona time, and he got her pregnant for real. Oops. So Lacey, if you would like to make sure that you can do everything you want to do after you give birth 9 months from now, go ahead and listen to the Sideline Junkies episode that covered exactly how to properly pump and store your breast milk so that way you can come back to the WWE as fast as possible because we took the time to cover it to make your life simple. Oh, and by the way, hey, Becky, yeah, you should listen to it too because I'm quite sure with all of your CrossFit training that you've been posting pictures of, you like to go ahead and not just be the man, be the mom that is actively wrestling and probably has a tremendous comeback very, very soon. So we did the work so that way you could take advantage and get back on track. But with all that said, Lacey 9 out of 10 is not wrestling. So
Not at all.
who would you say would fill that hole? Ooh, that's not good. Who who would you say will fill that spot and face Oscar?
Me too. Me too. Me too. Ladies and gentlemen,
Gotti!
those that are listening, we are so sorry. The views of the People's Choice Don Rodriguez and filling holes does not represent Sideline Junkies as a whole. Well, damn, I just said whole. Okay, well, damn it.
I'm sorry. To all the Barbies in the world, I'm so sorry. I personally, sorry, I'm talking to it. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was not me. That's not how I am. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Hold on. Yes, you're absolutely correct. We gotta make sure that you're good on that. So accept my apology. Oh, you're the greatest ever. No problem. We'll make sure that you're okay. Okay. Thanks. Hey man, Bray Wyatt can have puppets. Why can't I have a Jay Cargill Barbie?
This is what you are.
No. Trail mix?
No, you're nuts.
No, sorry. I was just trying to
hold my nuts.
no, I'm good. So,
Uncle Drew joke. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's all right.
So who would you put as her opponent now? Or you gonna just throw? I mean, Bianca could come back and face Asuka and beat her, and then be her own opponent in the main event, which would be not the first time something like that's happened, but that'd be kind of interesting.
You know what? Not even to bullshit you, but just to throw something out there and it's fresh. You have Nia and Shayna retained.
Right.
For opponents for Asuka. You have Nia and Shayna in a triple threat. So they got to beat the hell out of each other to win the championship.
So we saw what happened at Royal Rumble. There's no love lost.
You play on that to build that up, and then they get the bickering back and forth, and Asuka beats both of them.
Actually, didn't what's her name? Oh God, the Nightmare from NXT just got called up. I know that's bad. I'm brain farting on her now. This is my brutality theme song. You know what I'm talking about. I'm totally. I know that's bad.
Come on, you got
the Barbie threw me off, man. It took me all out of whack. It took me all out of whack.
Let me bring it back. Let me bring it back. Change that.
The nuts?
No.
Yeah.
Leave my nuts out of this.
Gotti.
I mean, this may be a stretch.
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Rhea Ripley. That may be a stretch.
But she's not doing anything, so she could just pop up and face Asuka and
But what if
actually well.
beats Asuka?
That's what I'm saying. If she beats Asuka, then I would want to see that match at WrestleMania.
Asuka. I mean,
Asuka
Rhea
versus
Ripley.
Bianca. I'm sorry, yeah, Rhea versus Bianca.
Yeah.
I would
But
want to see that.
you know, truth
Nobody
be
else I want
told,
to see right now. Say it again.
truth be told, backstage, you know, they get along very, very well.
Yeah.
But I think that chemistry of them getting along well would be very good for TV.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think I would. I think I'd be. That probably would sell out the curtain.
I agree. So that was just, like I just wanted to put it out there. But what's your thoughts on them kind of pinning this situation into the Ric Flair angle?
It
They
fits,
didn't come out and say it,
but it's
but
implied.
they
You know, it's
said it. Yeah.
TG.
Like Ric Flair he don't have that relations thing. That's not something but we are talking about Ric Flair. Everybody know that he's out there, woo, 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 genetic jackhammering and laying it down.
Excuse me, I'm waiting for him to say, you know, Lacey couldn't resist a ride on good old Space Mountain.
Now you know what?
Ride, but the longest line.
You know what would be even better? I doubt it would happen, but this is just a pipe dream. If they do a segment backstage, because she's got some time, so she could actually do segments and stuff like that up until. But if she's doing a segment and then Rick's like, "I'm so happy, I'm gonna be a dad again," and then she says, "Who says you're the father?" She's like, "What?" And then here comes Jay Lethal with the Ric Flair impersonation. Like, oh my God, that'd be so awesome. It's, it was dark and be like, I didn't know what was happening, but you were just an animal that night. And then here comes Jay Lethal. Did I? And then that's how he would get introduced to WWE. That'd be like, oh my God. And then Rick will be just devastated that Jay Lethal slid into the DMs for real. And
he's bleeding in.
Yeah. And then went to comp that rod to Space Mountain.
Mm. You know it's kind of icy out here, so it's easy to slide in the DMs.
Well, you better be careful. I don't want you getting in trouble.
Who getting in trouble?
That's probably what James is doing right now. He out there trying to slide into some DMs.
Don't get James suplex, please. Don't. Don't.
You're not hanging out with Nia right now?
No.
He's got to make sure, he's got the little donut, so that way if she's uncomfortable, you just slides it right there so she can sit down and be safe because she injured herself last week. That's the least he can do. You know what? I mean, I don't mind a suplex.
No.
No suplex. No Gordon Soley special.
It's Saturday night. It's not.
Oh my gosh! Did you pay the bill?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Or is James hacking us? Is he hacking us from afar?
No, I don't think he's hacking.
Got double check. You don't pay the bill sometimes.
I'm not the one in charge of that.
Well, who's not answering the phone?
Well, I'm not answering the phone.
Take that bill. You here? We got you. You back?
I'm here.
All right. There we go. Check it. We only 38 minutes in. You ruined it all right now. Who in the microwave? Tell them to close the microwave. They're messing up the show.
No food in the microwave.
Oh man, that's a travesty. That's probably why everything going south. All right, so let's jump into one of the big ones, and that being the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber. So we know in this one, just because he's Super Cena 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0, that being Drew McIntyre. And we all know how I feel about the Super Cena effect, which in essence is them letting him beat everybody and there subsequently being nobody to beat him. So what did we do with Drew McIntyre? We put him in the chamber. We have him defend his championship in the Elimination Chamber. So that means that it's going to be Drew McIntyre versus the recently re-heel turn Sheamus versus Randy Orton versus AJ Styles versus Kofi Kingston versus Jeff Hardy. And the caveat is that we know that Sheamus has won the gauntlet, so he will be the last entrant into the Elimination Chamber. So I believe this pick is yours. So Drew, is he going to main or retain his championship? Is Sheamus going to take it? Is Randy Orton going to be able to get his fiendness out of the way to be able to take the belt? Is AJ Styles going to walk out the champion once again? Kofi Mania back again? Possibly, possibly not. Or are they going to say, well, since Matt Hardy is still reinventing himself, we're just going to give it to Jeff Hardy? That's the choices. What's going to happen with the WWE Championship and Monday Night Raw?
I'm going to say, and I'm being quite honest here, I'm not being facetious, Jeff Hardy. Now, pull my coat and follow me on this one. The reason why I say,
please spell it out.
The reason why I say Jeff Hardy, because there's talk that he's going to bring in Brother Nero. What's the other character he has? Brother Nero and help me out.
He's got another character?
Yeah, what is the Willow?
Willow, yeah.
And I read in the dirt sheet that he's talking about trying to develop that. So
I consider them both the same character. To me, they're pretty similar. One had a daggone umbrella. But then again, if they bring in Marty Scurll, then the umbrella gimmick is already taken care of.
Yeah.
I have to see how that plays out. So I don't know if Willow will be. Yeah. Now I wouldn't mind seeing Willow tied into the other one tied into the Fiend and the Firefly Funhouse. And that could be how that could come to fruition, but he have to be kidnapped first. So I'll probably say Brother Nero would be the better way, but we'll have to see how that plays out. But Jeff Hardy, interesting choice.
Imagine this. Imagine the Fiend kidnaps Jeff Hardy, unleashes Brother Nero, and then in turn, you get broken Matt Hardy. Not woken, broken.
How do you get broken Matt Hardy in the WWE again?
Because remember when he first came over, Vince didn't get the whole broken thing. But he didn't own the rights to the gimmick. He was fighting with Ring of Honor for the rights to the gimmick. He owns the gimmick now. Now, if you get broken Matt Hardy back in WWE just for a short run, just to say he did it, and you got that little stable with The Fiend, broken Matt Hardy, and Brother Nero, who's beat?
Tony Khan did say that this week that he is open. The door is open. The opportunity is open for WWE to, ding ding, hello, ring the bell, knock on my door as somebody who we don't even really see anymore, being Aleister Black. Where is he? Have you seen him? Did anybody knock on his door recently so he could be on a show somewhere? We know his wife is streaming.
Yeah, but you know what? That's another another example of talent being buried in WWE. We don't see him, Ricochet, and Mustafa Ali. It's a gang load of guys that have been kind of sort of buried. And then I as exciting as Aleister Black and Ricochet were as a team, why would you ever break them up? They were fan favorites.
That is just, I know they always want to, you're going to the big leagues, kid, when you leave NXT. But the times have changed. NXT is the big leagues. So if NXT, in most instances, is drawing more than Raw most of the time, then the treatment that they get when they leave when they leave NXT to go to Raw should be equal. It shouldn't be a Keith Lee costume change, theme song change, and then like, really? What the heck is that? I hate to see, and hopefully it won't happen, Damian Priest, starting to go down and they have nothing for him again. They need to put this to good use, so to speak, and give the people what they want, to take a phrase from AEW and Excalibur and the Best Friends. So we just need to see how that's going to go. So, with that being said, I guess I have to make my pick. And as much as I'm going to hate saying this, the Super Cena effect, I think, is still going to happen. I would love Sheamus to win, but I doubt it. So I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre somehow retaining, and that'll probably only be because he's going to be the entrant before Sheamus. So with that being said, he'd still be kind of fresh, and then we're good to go. So, you still good over there?
Yeah, good.
Handling
business, that's all.
You said what?
Handling business.
All right, that's slow. Usos theme music right there. That's how we do it on the ringtone game. I was on a side note. One of my friends had never seen the movie Wall-E, so I told him he needs to watch that or he's dumb, and he just texted me back saying, "Great movie." Like, yeah, I don't know that, but I'm glad he got to enjoy arguably one of the best Pixar movies of all time. So we're going to jump from one chamber to the other. And the only reason why we're not going to put anything in the middle is because the overall main event, in my opinion, is 100% codependent upon this chamber match. So the Universal Championship in the state of SmackDown being up for grabs, we've got Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn, and Baron Corbin. The winner of said chamber match will have an immediate that night opportunity at Roman Reigns. So I'm going to let you pick it because unfortunately I believe this is going to be heavily storyline driven and you're going to go one way, potentially. So who you think is going to walk? Yeah.
And is it that obvious?
Yeah, truthfully. And the sad thing is, I would really like Jay to win. Really. And then have that play out. And then you've got the tugging of what happens, the dynamic of the family.
Yeah.
But I would mind Daniel Bryan getting one more shot too. Because I think the promo material between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns will be pretty intense.
Yeah.
And that match between Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar was shocking and amazing at the same time. Everybody just thought it was going to be a squash match, and the next thing you know, Daniel was putting up one hell of a fight, and that yes move and everything else was just hitting on all cylinders. He couldn't make it happen because Brock was Brock, but at the same time, he made a believer in everybody watching that match after the 2-minute mark, because you're like, oh snap, DB could have a shot. But unfortunately, for storyline purposes, we are on the official road to WrestleMania. Yeah, we kind of gotta put Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns potentially, but then again, we still have to also keep in the back of our heads that Edge has not announced his Money in the Bank pick, which would also be kind of interesting because Edge wouldn't pick Roman if Roman's not the champion. So you kind of got another thing to figure out. So, well, you went out on a limb and picked Jeff Hardy. So I'm actually going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go out on a limb and pick Jey Uso.
Ooh. Now I got to check because I had you down as
KO.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb on that one. Just because I'm hoping that they do the swerve, which would cause KO to still show up after that. Then, you know, it may be Jay doing the drop down, do the right thing for the family, lay down and take this 1, 2, 3, and then KO shows up and ruins that. And then that's how we parlay in. Or Edge spears and picks Roman or something like that. But Roman has to be the champion going into WrestleMania. Period. He may lose it at Mania, but he has to be the champion going in. So I don't want that opportunity to be taken away in that fashion. Because I think if Edge interferes, then KO would win the match against Roman. So I kind of want Roman to be there. So I'm kind of being selfish with that. If they have this Intercontinental Championship match, we'll do the picks for this, because this could be one of those filler matches. For the Intercontinental, Big E versus Apollo Crews. Who would you have?
Big E, no question in my mind, because his push is long overdue. But they never intended him to be as successful as he is and was with the New Day.
Right.
So his push is long overdue. It has to happen. But
Look it up.
With this push, I'm gonna tell you where it's gonna end at.
What's that?
Big E versus Keith Lee.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a match made in heaven. 60-minute Iron Man match from the 90s.
So you're taking it back.
Yeah.
The Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels special right there.
Oh, Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin, who never lost because he never tapped out. He passed out from loss of blood.
That wasn't supposed to be there. Which became, for how many years, one of the most iconic images during the WWE reel. When you're, loading in and you just see Stone Cold blood, especially on the one that says, "Do not try this at home."
Right.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier, that was one of the T-shirts on WWF Attitude. You could actually have that on one of your characters' T-shirts.
Mm-hmm. But did you not see what Apollo did on SmackDown? This evil or aggressive side of Apollo Crews? Where he allegedly threw the ring steps down on Big E. Big E could be injured in some capacity, and Apollo could actually take the championship away. So we don't know if it's going to be a shoulder injury and he's going to be taped up, if it's going to be ribs. I doubt they'll go the concussion angle. So that could open the opportunity for Apollo to win. So I'm actually going to pick Apollo Crews because Big E is long overdue for his strong push. But Lord knows Apollo is like on life support. Very, very unutilized talent. Big E was utilized mostly because he was tied into the New Day, but Apollo has been kind of flailing along, and they didn't even put him with the Hurt Business, so he has no backup. Now he's heel turning, and he's just flailing out there all alone. So give the man a shot. He could lose it on the following SmackDown, but just give him a shot. So with that being said, you picked Kevin Owens, so I'm assuming you want Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns.
I would love it.
So who would your pick be between the two to win that championship match?
And would this be an official pick?
Yep.
KO.
If it happens, so that'd be a double win.
KO.
All right. So I'm going to go with Roman Reigns. So either way, if it's KO is in, then that'll lock it in and you'll be good to go for your pick. If it's not KO, who would you pick?
Anybody but Roman.
So Roman's going to lose no matter what.
You got to take the belt on just for a little while. Don't everybody listening and watching, please don't get your panties in the bunch. You got to take the belt off him for a little bit, just a little bit.
Really?
Because you got to see how
Drew McIntyre.
Huh?
Tell him to do that to Drew.
Well, they did for a minute, but people got their panties in a bunch when Randy Orton was the champion. I'm like, I've been waiting for Randy to be the champion for years.
I'm with you. Well, I'm doubling down on Roman all across the board.
Okay.
So this could be a double win for you or a solo win for me, technically. It just depends. Because, I mean, if Jay wins, then I guess technically it would be a double opportunity. But Jay's not winning that belt. So, yeah, Roman's walking away.
No.
And that's just how that's going to be in my esteemed opinion. I know, you have some crazy thoughts out there sometimes, but in my esteemed opinion, we're going to hear my ringtone kick in, and then Roman Reigns is going to be the man, the tribal chief, the head of the table, the man that gets the big piece of chicken.
That's the man that paid the bills.
Allegedly. He ain't paid my bills yet. Try and get my Samoan life on. That's all I'm saying.
Now, you talk about ringtones. I got a new ringtone this week. So whenever I get a text message, it's Power Rangers.
So the Power Rangers. The original Power Rangers theme song, though? Oh, God.
I had a whole argument with my wife about it. She was like, that's Kim Possible. I was like, no, the Power Rangers. That's Kim Possible. It's not.
Oh. I missed that show, too.
I missed the original Power Rangers. Once they started going left and everybody, that first incarnation in 93 and then the second incarnation, after that, I was pretty much done. Once they started driving cars, I was like, I'm done.
Then it became Voltron.
Yeah. I was like, I'd rather watch Big Bad Beetleborgs than watch this.
What you know about that? You know about the Beetleborgs, man.
I got it. Because they used to show that on Fox Kids on Fridays.
Oh
and it came on before Goosebumps.
That's right. We are dropping some nuggets on viewers right now. They didn't even know about Beetleborgs. What the heck? I mean, Beetlejuice? Yeah, that was a cartoon too, but no. Beetleborgs, baby.
Beetleborgs.
And while you at it, take a left at Cybertron and go over and check out them GoBots. They don't know about that. Then if we really going to do it, we're going to do the Conan show, the Conan cartoon.
You got to see you threw in GoBots. You got to throw in the Silverhawks, man.
What you know about that? That Tally Hawk. If we're going to throw the Silverhawks,
action figure.
Oh man, you're going to throw in Mask. You're going to throw in oh gosh, there was so many good things. What's the one I'm thinking about? Brave Star. I don't know if you remember that. Shoot.
What was it? What was it? Was it Mighty Max?
Yep.
That was another one I used to watch all the time. Now I can't find that anywhere. I think it's on YouTube, but it's not good quality. But I want to watch it again.
Static Shock is on HBO Max.
And I have HBO Max. I love Static Shock.
So that was a good one. Great superhero, great role model. It was a great show.
Mm-hmm.
Way ahead of its time. Hopefully it gets a live action adaptation at some point. I'm trying to think, man. What else we used to watch back in the day before Black Belt Theater kicked in?
Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah. And the X-Men, OG X-Men. And the Marvel show that will come on like 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. That's when you had to catch it in Baltimore. 6 a.m. It was 6 to 6:30 if you're lucky. So I would have to make sure I wake up early enough to creep downstairs to see if the Marvel animated cartoon was on before the other X-Men. So, Iron Man and all that was on there. But that stuff was hardcore. It was hardcore.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh my God.
I knew you liked that one.
Oh man, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
That Tick.
Yep, the Tick. Yeah, that was a great one. And then Aliens, Colonial Movies, that was a good one. Like all these rated R movies, they turned into RoboCop.
Yep.
As crazy as that was, he walking around, let's go, Lewis. Like, what? What? And they fight ED-209s everywhere. Drop it.
Biker Mice from Mars. The original Biker Mice.
Yes. If you do that, you definitely got to talk about the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then my man Yosaki Yojimbo. I don't know. Remember the Bunny Rabbit?
Remember that.
That was some good times back then. Like, shoot, these kids, they don't know about that damn boy. They don't know about that.
See, getting up during the week to go to school, I would have to get up at 6:30. And I would always turn on, that was your Fox channel in Baltimore, but down here it's just WBFF.
Mm-hmm.
And I would watch Sailor Moon.
What? Evil by Moonlight. About that. If we talk about Sailor Moon, you got to take it a step further in anime land, the Ronin Warriors. I don't know if you caught that mess. Well, my man Ryo Wildfire.
Man.
Like, who needs a Naruto? Ronin Warriors with the thing, boy. My man Anubis come out there quaking with fear. You just knew you was getting destroyed. And then, I guess we have to give the nod to Dragon Ball Z when it first came out.
Well, Dragon
Ball. I haven't finished the Cell fight yet because 18 hours of conversation in between each punch. Every time I turn around, it's the same daggone episode. Like, what the heck? Like, man, I've been gone 3 months. How y'all still fighting the fool?
Don't let BJ hear you say that.
He can hear it all day long. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Come to Dragon Ball Z, it's because of him and a friend of ours, Donnell. I used to now mind you, I'm grown. I'm 20 years old. And I would leave work on a Friday because that's when they showed Dragon Ball Z. And I would shoot home just so I could drop my stuff off in the house, speak to my grandmother. If I got paid that day, drop my check in her pocket and be like, I'll be back in a little bit. Just to run down the street to go to Donnell's house. And Donnell was a grown man. Donnell was in his late 20s, early 30s. And we all piled up at his house to watch daggone Dragon Ball Z.
Turn down.
That, and then when Cartoon Network had Toonami on, Toonami used to come on Friday at 2 o'clock.
Heck yeah. Johnny Bravo, all that stuff. Good Space Ghost, Coast to Coast.
Man.
All that stuff was just hot fire back in the day. Spitting hot fire like Dylon.
That's where it was at.
So, since we just went down memory lane and all that stuff, we're going to wrap the show up, I guess, with name the cartoon that really affected your life the most. Like, it pretty much was just ingrained into your being for the longest period of time, maybe up until now. What cartoon for you was that cartoon. It was, you know.
If you remember, this is the mid '90s. The Spider-Man that came on Fox in the mid '90s.
Yes.
Because that shaped everything. And I tell my kids about it. I say, I was a senior in high school, had a girlfriend. She'd be like, come on, walk me home. And we got out of school at 2:35, like, all right, I'm gonna walk you home. Because she lived behind me. But I was like, before you go home, we got to stop by my house. She was like, for what? I was like, Spider-Man's coming on. What the fuck do you mean? She was like, are you serious? Yes, dear, I'm serious. And she would come. Sometimes she would come by. She didn't have to stay out for basketball practice. She came by and she watched Spider-Man. And then I would walk her home. But that was like, nothing stopped me from watching Spider-Man at 3 o'clock.
Yep.
No homework, no girls. Spider-Man at 3 o'clock. And when those episodes come back on, or I can catch those, nothing stops me from watching those. And I'm able to really follow it because they went a lot off the comic book. Yeah. And Spider-Man is my favorite of all time. I always wanted to be Spider-Man. You know, a lot of people want to be Batman. I always wanted to be Spider-Man. And watching the movies and everything, if it wasn't true to the comic book, I was upset. Like when what was that? That was Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire. Mm-hmm. I held court in the movie theater.
Which part?
The whole movie. Like, I had a bunch of little kids sitting around me. I was in there with my son, my oldest son, Dario, who's sitting over here playing GTA. But I was in there with him, his cousin, and his mother. And we were sitting there, and they were asking me questions. All the other little kids kept leaning in. I was like, oh, no, come here. Let me explain this to y'all. And I'm explaining everything that's going to happen in the movie and why it's happening and what led up to it. I said, you got to watch out. You got to watch the whole series that went for a week with the Insidious 6. They was like, what's that? I said, man, write this stuff down because you're going to need to watch this. When I say I held court during Spider-Man movies, I held court during Spider-Man movies. In my house right now, the movie poster for Spider-Man 3 is hanging in my hallway. That's how deep it is.
Respect. All right, so for me, it is the almighty G.I. Joe.
Really?
Yeah, man. There's something about, now I know, and knowing is half the battle. And then, that crossed so many things because from there, that was really the launcher point for me of the Sergeant Slaughter character. Mm-hmm. I know what we had in WWF and E, but man, when Sarge was in animated form and he's just out there doing his thing, it was just like, get him, Sarge. And then, the different characters from Zartan, Tomax and Zaymon, and my overall favorite, Nemesis Enforcer, Cobra Commander, just everybody, Duke, Roadblock. I mean, there was just so much. G.I. Joe was just that show, man. You could just sit down, just watch it. Like even as I'm talking about it right now and see the opening cinematics and the battles as it's growing over from left to right, and then they're fighting Cobra and G.I. Joe. I'm not gonna sing the song, but real American hero. No, I'm not going there. Not trying to. G.I. Joe was there. I'm not trying to do that, but G.I. Joe was that show.
Man. Well, I didn't understand G.I. Joe because that was when I was really, really young. But then when they started moving up and, it got older and it didn't click with me until I got really, really old and I could really understand it.
You didn't have the toys that was the first toy that you could break apart, especially, back in the day when they was using rubber bands. Mm-hmm. And then, we were swapping arms and heads and legs with people. So by the time we get done, like you had all new characters and toys, and your mom was like, I didn't buy that. What is that? Well, I just traded so-and-so the arm so that way it could look different. Get that arm back. What? You know how long it took me to snap this thing on? And he got the perfect kung fu grip to hold the gun. Man, I had to go back over there and get my arm back. Like, what the hell?
Now, see, I had a lot of G.I. Joe toys, especially vehicles. I had G.I. Joe vehicles. Never had any action figures, but I had G.I. Joe toys.
So who
Now,
the heck was driving the Jeep?
no, I had an old school one. I'm talking about the one that was like yay big.
Oh
I mean,
man.
it was really, really big with the 12-inch tall action figure
Oh, okay.
and the carpet for hair and the beard. I had that one. I held on to that for as long as I could. I even had Star Trek action figures.
Oh yeah.
Until my cousin teased me about it. He was like, dog, you sitting over here playing with dolls. I said, man, they action figures. What are you talking about?
There was some
I said,
dolls.
he was like, they dolls. I was like, how you figure they dolls? He's like, don't they clothes come off? I said, yeah, ain't. Those dolls, man. What's wrong with you? And after that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put these away.
It was a while before they actually got real action figures. Yeah, it's like, how Star Trek get the doll treatment? For real? Come on, Spock. How, Sway? How? How, Sway? How? But
I love it. I wish I'd have held on to all that stuff.
But I guess we'd be remiss as we're wrapping everything up for this Elimination Chamber show that we should really talk about arguably one of the most iconic cartoons that, well, two of the most iconic cartoons because they're both revolving around WWE Hall of Famers. One of them was Mr. T, and the other one was Hulk, the Hulk Hogan cartoon, which had everybody on it from that era. Roddy Piper was the villain. He was rolling with Paul Orndorff. And then, Hulk Hogan was rolling with Andre the Giant. And then, you had Bobby Heenan out there and Mr. Fuji. Just everybody was in that cartoon, man. And, at the end, you always had Hogan talking about the prayers, the vitamins, and everything else. So, again, just to reiterate, I don't know Terry Bollea, but I know that Hulk Hogan character. And every time you hear, I am a real American, I'm a mark out. Don't know Terry, but I know that Hogan character.
Exactly.
That's how that goes right there. So I know you remember Mr. T and Hulk Hogan.
I remember the Mr. T cereal.
What you know about that?
I know my mom would never buy it.
Yes, I had it one time. I had the Mr. T cereal one time. I had the Ghostbuster cereal one time. Other than that, it was you better eat this cereal I bought in his house.
Right.
Like,
right.
But Mom, we didn't have peach oatmeal for 4 weeks. You better eat that. It's cold outside. Man, I hate oatmeal to this day.
Oh my!
Can't stand oatmeal.
It's only I'll eat. It has to be flavored oatmeal.
I can't. Nope.
If it's not flavored oatmeal, I'm not going to eat it.
If I get a whiff of the peach, I mean, I was like, I almost want to throw up. I could barely tolerate the apple. Barely.
Not even maple brown sugar?
That's not too bad, but I don't want to eat it, but it smells bad. Yeah. Can't do it.
See, that's like growing up, that's like Lucky Charms. My mother bought me one box of Lucky Charms when I was younger, and I ate all the marshmallows out and went to eat the cereal.
Oh, God, yeah. That's
so she was like, I'll never buy you another box of Lucky Charms. I'm 39 years old. She ain't bought me another box yet.
You should have did it the other way, man. You should have ate all the cereal so that way your last bowl is all marshmallow. You'd be running through the walls.
And I didn't think about it like that.
Right there, though. That's discipline.
When
you pour it, you got to, I got a marshmallow and put it back.
The only time I ever got Lucky Charms as a kid after that, I had to go to my aunt's house. Because she always bought my cousin Lucky Charms. And he'd be like, you want a bowl of cereal? What you got? Lucky Charms? Yeah. But I used to eat the cereal at that time. So I was like, I wasn't just eating the marshmallows, I was eating the cereal. But now I buy Lucky Charms for the kids, and I don't even eat it. I don't touch it.
You just can't do it. It's just psychologically, she'd have messed you up.
I don't, like, I think I'm getting old because I'll eat Raisin Bran and Crackling Oat Bran. It'll be fine.
Hey, man, just jump over to the Frosted Mini Wheat train, man.
Oh, believe me, I'm already on that train.
Heck yeah. Then if you want to jazz it up,
sugar on that thing.
Add you some granola to it.
Look, that right there, and Saturday morning cartoons, I'm like, I'm living my dream. I'm old as hell.
Let's not talk about
cartoons.
I'm an old man now, man. I'm eating my cereal, watching Beyblade, and I'm sitting there looking at it like, yo, man, these little spinning tops is going hard. They, beasts coming out of them. These kids, how Japanese animation, that clothes flying in the wind, and they sit there like, oh, go get them. And then you get the toys, you're like, man, ain't nothing come out this daggone spinning top yet. Well, I can't even 3, 2, 1 launch the daggone thing without it breaking apart. But yeah, that daggone Beyblade Burst Turbo. That's Saturday mornings right there before I go to work. I'm eating my cereal, watching the Beyblades, man. Got that.
Might have to check that out.
You're gonna have to, man. It's serious. Just this revolving around, literally at its core, spinning tops. But they be treating it like, harder than Pokemon. Pokemon was at least like the kids going to school and stuff. These little kids ain't even in school. They just training for 4 hours. Like, what are we gonna do? Train? All you doing is this the entire. What are you training for? Kids lifting weights. 13 looking like he, look like Brock Lesnar. Talking about, I'm gonna destroy you. Like, yeah, get off them daggone steroids. You ain't even
that's
fighting.
that's what they feed them. They feed them bowls of steroids instead of cereal.
Heck yeah, man. But I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you taking the time to listen to our picks, and then also this. I guess I'll go ahead and bite the bullet on that one. Discussing how old we are. It's a rarity that I'll admit it, because we all know the true dinosaur is James, but I don't know what was that. Mortimer Mouse was his first cartoon. Was that back in the day? Was that the first? No, 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 no. I know James's first cartoon. It was the black and white thing with the good and plenties or whatever candy that was, and they're like, let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat or snack, whatever the song is. That was his first cartoon, right? Was that black and white?
I thought you was gonna give him Steamboat Mickey, but okay.
I don't think I can do that whole whistle anymore.
That's what I thought you was gonna give him, but I guess not.
No, I went before that with Mortimer Mouse.
Yeah.
It's way back. So, you're welcome, James. You go ahead and in the next 2 minutes on whatever show we allow you on, get ready to say what you're going to say before we turn it off.
Oh, you already know what he's gonna say. I can hear it right now, and it's gonna be a pop on the end of that.
It's not as prolific as, what I'm saying, when James heard his first thing as a kid. Let there be, like, wait a minute, who the heck is talking? Let there be what? Like, man, James sitting there like, you know what? You've been working hard this week. You should go ahead and rest. This was it, day 7? Just go and take a nap. Go and take a nap. I mean, you do animals and stuff. I got somebody to play with. Just take a nap. Like, all right, James, no problem. Thank you, James Earl Jones.
Oh, James gonna get in your ass, man.
Oh, man. Shoot, James was babysat by Morgan Freeman. That's how old he was, man.
Oh my God.
No, we're not going to start on a tangent of James's old jokes.
Oh my God.
Because I don't think there's enough time, because you got to calculate. I mean, how many chapters is there in the Bible, man? It's like, God dang.
Oh.
Like, shoot. David versus Goliath. David beat Goliath because Goliath was walking backwards, tripped over James. I was like, God dang it.
I ain't got nothing to do with nuclear sumo.
Wait a minute, before we go. No, before we go, we all know, we see it, every Easter it's coming up. Cecil B. DeMille's movie, The 10 Commandments. And we know that, Moses was coming down, in the Nile. And then, James was like, hey, there's a baby over there.
He's gonna tell you doing.
Oh, man.
Oh my God, he's gonna get you.
Yeah, Moses going up with that Mount Sinai, and like, think I'm gonna talk to the Lord. James over there rubbing sticks together, bush caught on fire. Like, oh shit. Moses all confused. It's a burning bush. James hot in the background, like, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble for this. I may burn California. Oh man. Oh boy. That's there's too many of them right there. Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
As usual, you can listen to us on every streaming platform: Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts.
I mean, James over there approving the building permits for Moses. Like, it's going to take a couple more days. You got to go ahead and fix that corner over there in the ark. There's just something wrong with it. It's going to take a couple weeks. Moses like, but it's going to rain in 2 days. I don't know what to tell you, man, but that's not up to code.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, you're going to get in trouble for this, man. I'm going to tell him you was talking about it like that.
But anybody want to make any comments, questions, responses, Sideline Junkies 24/7.
I don't picture that, man. Everybody hungry in the Garden of Eden, and they're like, "What are we gonna eat?" I don't know. We haven't figured it out yet. I mean, we got plants and stuff. Like, what the heck y'all talking about, man? There's some apples over there. For real? Yeah, man, go get you one. The rest is history. Got that going, James, man.
Be prepared for the Nubian Sumo's response.
That's why he said he don't eat no swine, because he's guilty, because the reason why we eat swine is because he volunteered the apple. Like that. There's some snakes over there, but that apple's good though. I just want to let y'all know.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
James walked over to Adam like, so I heard you got a couple extra ribs. Like, can I get the hookup? Can you hook up a brother? Yep. God, they're gonna try it. You can join in if you want. You can join in if you want.
All you.
I was just checking.
I don't think money to pay the FCC.
Controversial. Yeah. But I know James was like, yo, man, I know y'all over here, going ham and stuff like that because this man carrying the cross. But who the hell gonna pick up all these damn rocks? I'm out here barefoot. I done stumped my toe 4 times. Y'all need to stop this shit. For real. Who picking up all these damn rocks? I ain't cleaning this up. I'm gonna go to hell for that one.
Look, I'm gonna go to hell just for laughing because I look.
That though, James was walking by like, man, who the hell picking up all these rocks? Ain't that about a mess? Actually,
let's go home. Let's go home. Let's go home.
So James, well, he'll be back from special assignment at some point. We appreciate him doing his diligence. I mean, he's been around for a while, so he was part of the crew that helped the transition at the White House. So he was driving the moving truck. So we appreciate that. He's out there, but he's back hopefully next week to tell us how that went, cover, and stuff like that. And we will have the results of our Elimination Chamber pick. So, oh man. They said they gave me the signal, just stretch. So I was like, well, I can throw about 20 more minutes of James in there. So there we go. We stretched it as far as I could go. Allegedly, I could go further, but no.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Thank you all for listening. Please stay tuned. We will be back tomorrow. This is Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs with the People's Choice Don Rodriguez, the big guy KG. The Nubian Sumo is on special assignment, but we will have him back next week, hopefully. Please send all your donations on Cash App to Sideline Junkies so we can play the FCC fine that we're about to get for all the F-bombs that James is going to drop.
Yeah. And thank you to not Jade Cargill Barbie. We appreciate you hanging out with us, and hopefully you'll be back next week.
But until then, we are out of here.